Once upon a time, there was a great and foolish king who ruled a vast kingdom. One day, he complained to his advisors, "The ground is too rough, and it hurts my feet. I want the entire country to be carpeted with cowhide, so I can walk comfortably everywhere." The king's advisors, though puzzled, had to follow his command. Soon, the word spread across the kingdom. Every corner of the country was covered with cowhide, and the land was transformed into a strange carpet. When the king's work was done, he felt relief and joy. But his happiness was short-lived. The cost of carpeting the entire country with cowhide had been enormous, and the kingdom was in financial trouble. One day, the king's court jester, who was always quick to see the humor in things, overheard the king boasting about his great accomplishment. Laughing to himself, the jester decided to speak up. "Your Majesty," the jester said, "what an absolutely crazy idea! Why go through all this expense? Why carpet the whole country when you could just cut out 2 small pads to protect your feet?" The king's face turned red with embarrassment. "What do you mean, cut 2 small pads?" he asked, confused by the simplicity of the solution. The jester laughed and said, "Why go through all the trouble of covering the entire country with cowhide when you can simply protect your own feet? It's not the land that needs changing, it's your own approach." The king paused and reflected on the jester's words. He realized how absurd it was to try to change the entire world around him rather than addressing the problem directly and simply. He understood that sometimes, the solution is much smaller and simpler than we think. The jester's simple wisdom had revealed a fundamental truth: rather than trying to change everything around him, the king could have changed himself. He could have solved the problem by simply protecting his own feet. The king learned a valuable lesson that day. Sometimes, the grandest solutions are not the best. It is the simplest answers, the smallest changes, that can have the most powerful impact. The foolish king had learned that trying to change the entire world can often be more of a burden than a solution. Instead, the real power lies in changing what is within our control. And so, the king lived out the rest of his days with humility, learning to find simple solutions to complex problems. The kingdom, too, thrived under his newfound wisdom, no longer burdened by grand, unnecessary tasks.